Last time, on the Kicking of Mumkey Jones, Digi was caught lying to the fans once again, and it was suggested that Digi's decision to bash Mumkey may have been a facade used to divert the troll's attention away from Endless Jess. This time, I'll be looking into that theory to find out if it holds any credibility. To do this, I need to find out just how serious the trolling against Endless Jess actually was. We already have Digi and Jesse's side of things, but I don't think I can justify taking everything that they've claimed at face value, for obvious reasons. Because of this, I decided to get in contact with the alleged harassers, the trolls. I wanted to see if I could get their sides of the story separately, in order to understand the magnitude of the trolling and get a better overall idea of the events that took place prior to Digi's video. In Digi's video, he name drops 4 people as the main culprits responsible for Endless Jess's leave of absence.
Mr. Meatman, Cream Man, Princess Natlord, Bedhead Bernie. There's probably more. Those are the names. These are the people you should be banning from your communities. Do not let them in your Discord servers. They are bad people.
Cream Man was the first that I talked to, as he sought me out after seeing my first video and offered to answer any questions that I had regarding the situation. Afterwards, Cream Man put me in contact with Mr. Meatman, who I also interviewed. Mr. Meatman in turn put me in contact with Bedhead Bernie, who I talked to next. But before we delve into their sides of the story, let's first head back to Digi's video to review the allegations. Before going off on a tangent, the first issue that Digi brings up is that Cream Man was hounding Jesse by making angry videos and comments.
These guys are malicious. Cream Man was hounding Jesse. This is a guy who was not just making angry videos and comments and all that shit, which is alone is annoying enough that Mumkey shouldn't have been associating with him anymore. Mumkey should not have been, and this is something everyone in the PC agreed on from the beginning and we all made clear to Mumkey.
But was Cream Man really responsible for everything Digi just said? Well, let's take a look at some of those videos while we listen to Cream Man explain himself.
I don't think anything really overstepped any boundaries. I don't think they were threatening. I think my message, particularly my message Endless Jess video, where I fucking have a top hat, trench coat, and dance around with a katana, making jokes about knowing multiple forms of karate. I feel like that was, clearly lighthearted, meant to be funny or whatever, poking fun at him.
And when asked about his other videos, in which he pretends Endless Jess is Santa, he had this to say.
Yeah, so, just a note on the video where I pretend he's Santa. I added that joke in afterwards because someone had recommended me that it might upset Jess a little bit that he show up, my videos show up maybe if you search for Endless Jess. So that was the point of that joke.
After watching these videos, it was clear to me that they were just jokes, and are probably some of the mildest forms of trolling that I've ever seen. But what about Mr. Meatman? He's also made videos about Jesse. And maybe Digi thought those were the malicious videos, and instead named Cream Man by mistake. So let's take a look at Mr. Meatman's videos about Endless Jess.
Endless Jess is a YouTube reviewer / comedian, part of a podcast called the PCP. Jess's personality usually consists of being quick to anger, as well as exhibiting aggravation on minuscule subjects. However, when he takes himself seriously, he can be professional, often focusing on the very important details others often miss in things, whether that be in movies or games. However, one thing most noteworthy about Endless Jess is perhaps the fact that he cannot take criticism. Others have mocked Jess before for his opinions and actions, to which he proceeds to ban them. Unlike most adult children who don't realize cyberbullying stops with just one click of a button, Endless Jess not only bans people for having different opinions with him, but also by association. That means that even though someone's never even spoken with him before, he'll ban them because they're associating with people he doesn't like.
After watching the videos, I've concluded that for the most part, they were critical of Jesse, though they never came across as anything that I would consider to be harassment, as they were far less critical, angry, or accusatory than Jesse has been towards others in his own videos.
Christ, I want you all to hang yourselves. I mean, show me the doctor who dropped you on your head as an infant. What super soldier vaccine gave you this crippling autism?
Okay, so let's look at some of these comments so that you can see for yourself the avalanche of autistic geeks that immediately have to comment on a video like this. Matoro Zelif says, dual boot your computer with Linux Mint. Very easy Linux distro to get into. Is that even fucking English? Because if it is, I don't care. I don't know what you're saying, and I don't care to know what you're saying. It's a bunch of nerd, geek, gibberish, and I don't have time for it, because I'm a fucking adult. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on, dipshit. Dual boot your computer with Linux Mint. Alright, Boris from GoldenEye, you Hawaiian shirt wearing fuck.
Mr. Meatman's videos were also much milder than Digi was in either of his videos talking about why Mumkey was kicked from the PCP.
And the fact that he doesn't see that means he's a fucking idiot.
When I asked Mr. Meatman about how threatening he thought his videos were, he responded by saying that they were just jokes.
Jokes. Just honestly jokes.
Mr. Meatman later went on to claim that one of the videos wasn't even directed at Endless Jess, but rather at a guy named Awesome Kurt, who tried to get Mumkey to cut ties with Cream Man by threatening to pull his monthly patronage.
But it wasn't exactly about him. It was about one of his fans, Awesome Kurt, for unpledging to Mumkey and then like basically telling him, hey, I'm unpledging to you and I'm going to keep unpledging to you as long as you're friends with Cream Man. So you should stop being friends with Cream Man. And it was a huge joke that we all laughed at. Like a joke as in like, wow, $5 is a big threat.
Digi's 0 for 2 so far, but maybe Bedhead Bernie is the one responsible for making threatening videos towards Jesse. When I asked Bernie, he responded by saying, quote, I've made no threats or hounded Jess. Jess retracted the claim himself on Twitter and explained why Digi believed I did. When I asked the others, they also agreed that Bernie's involvement in trolling Endless Jess was incredibly minimal. Even still, I decided to take a look at Bedhead Bernie's channel to see if maybe there was more to it than they were letting on. What I found was a series of high-quality videos covering a range of topics relating to animation, without a single instance of trolling. Since the incident, Digi has still yet to correct himself or apologize to Bernie, who admitted to being confronted by numerous people that believed he was responsible for doxing and harassing Jess's family. But even if Bernie played no part in harassing Jesse's family, certainly we can hold at least one of the others accountable, right? I decided to ask them to see what they had to say regarding Digi's allegations of them sharing Jess's information.
I did not try to contact his family. I was actually given his personal information by somebody. I didn't use it for anything, and I told him not to use it for anything. But I was given his personal information. I'd rather not give away the name of the other party just for his privacy as well.
Mr. Meatman told a similar story, saying that they were both given Jess's information, but did nothing with it. I later asked Cream Man to clarify over text exactly what personal information of Jesse's he was given. He responded by saying that he received Jess's phone number and address. I then asked Cream Man if the person that gave him the information had contacted Endless Jess or his family in any way. He responded by saying, quote, he did not. He sent it to me with the hopes that I'd do it and record it. I next asked Cream Man if the person that acquired Jesse's information had sent it to others, and I also inquired as to how this person came across the information to begin with. Cream Man replied that the anonymous troll has a bot to dox people with, implying that the troll got this information on his own and not through another person. Cream Man also stated that he wasn't aware of anyone else being sent the information. But we know from this clip that Mr. Meatman also received Endless Jess's personal information from the same person as Cream Man.
We didn't, me and Cream Man both got it from one guy. We didn't do anything with it. We said we're not going to do anything with it. Yeah.
Because of this statement, I would say that it is likely that Jesse's information has been passed around even further, and his family may have been contacted. Despite this, I would say that it is unlikely that either Cream Man or Mr. Meatman were responsible for this in any way, as I was unable to find an instance of them lying throughout their entire interviews, which included them admitting to having trolled Endless Jess in other ways. In addition to this, there would be no legal ramifications for sharing publicly available information, such as a phone number or an address. One of these admissions includes Cream Man owning up to the fact that he purchased EndlessJess.com.
I bought it off a website called Namecheap for $10.
Cream Man went on to describe that the website briefly routed to the Mumkey Cinematic Universe wiki page on Endless Jess, before a functional GitHub page was created, which was used to parody Endless Jess further. That same GitHub page is currently on screen. The site included a YouTube video with a yellow filter that appears when hovered over, as well as a brief article criticizing Endless Jess for being unable to take criticism. The website also contained links to other websites as well as fake sponsorships and a disclaimer which directly implied the page was satirical in nature. As for Mr. Meatman, he openly admitted to having trolled Digi's Discord and provided me with screenshots of his actions.
I'll be honest. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I did. I did two things, one of which made no sense for why I got, and the second one was actually the reason why I got banned, which made no sense. The first one though was, honestly, it was provoking. Like a few people on his Discord were talking about Mother's Basement, and they were like shit talking him, like, actually there were a ton of comments just shit talking him. I at the same time, I find like on an unrelated Discord, I find a comment by one guy that says like fuck Digi, and like this whole like copy pasta rant about or like whatever, like how Digi's a fucking retarded boy. I think it was just a copy pasta replaced with Digi's name, but I screenshotted that and I sent it to them, and then they thought that it was from the Mother's Basement Discord. Like they asked me before I even said like that it was, and I said, oh yeah, sure it is.
Because they were so forthright about what they had done, I find it unlikely that either of them lied during their interviews, though that is still a possibility. Next, I went to Endless Jess's Twitter to ask him if he or his family had ever been contacted at home by trolls, but I didn't need to ask him. Endless Jess had already responded to a similar question with a Discord screenshot of King Cream Man, who wrote, "I found Endless Jess's family. I will be mailing them dildos." Naturally, I confronted Cream Man about this tweet, and what he replied with was pretty shocking.
Okay, yeah, that was me. Let me explain that. Okay, so Endless Jess had people in my fucking Discord. Whenever I would talk about him, they'd say anything about him, they sent messages back to him like they were spying on me. So I started saying outrageous shit just so it would get back to him to piss him off. I feel as though if you're sending someone to spy on me, I have the right to fucking send you misinformation back.
Given the nature of the comment, I was inclined to believe Cream Man once again. After all, who would threaten to mail someone's family dildos by telling everyone in the Discord server that they were going to be doing so? But, just to be sure, I contacted the alleged spy, Steel Viper 77, in order to get his side of the story. It has since been well over a week since I sent him this DM, and he has yet to respond, despite having later made unrelated tweets. It's certainly suspicious, though he may just not want to talk about the drama. In either case, I don't have any reason to believe that Cream Man lied to me. So unless some other form of evidence, or another version of events is released or confessed to, I'll be taking Cream Man at his word. That being the only reason he made the dildo statement was to counteract and throw off the person who was allegedly stalking and spying on him, Steel Viper 77. Now I also asked Cream Man if he ever asked Steel Viper to leave him alone. As it turns out, he didn't. Because of this, I believe that Cream Man overreacted to Steel Viper's presence. Though I don't think that Cream Man's over-the-top comment, which was designed specifically to elicit a reaction, should be considered a serious threat. That being said, I do see how the comment could be perceived as a threat, even if that wasn't Cream Man's intention. Unfortunately, intentions are hard to prove, and I don't doubt that Jesse would have seen this as a threat, so chalk one up for Digi's integrity. And let's move on to the most serious allegation: the death threats. Threatening to kill someone is a crime that can carry up to a $5,000 fine and a maximum sentence of up to 5 years in prison. So when Digi claims that these people made death threats against Jesse, he's essentially calling them criminals that deserve to be fined and jailed for their actions. With such strong accusations, you'd expect that Digi would have known for a fact that this crime had actually been committed. But given Digi's recent track record regarding the truth, I decided to play things on the safe side and ask around a bit before jumping to conclusions. I think it's fair to say that we can already eliminate Bedhead Bernie, who Jesse himself apologized to for Bernie's name being included in Digi's video. So the next one up is Cream Man, who had this to say when asked if he sent death threats to Endless Jess.
If someone sent him death threats, I do think that's too far. I didn't send him any death threats. I don't know of anybody sending him death threats. I've been told that the message to Endless Jess video was the death threat.
While I can't be 100% certain, I don't think that anyone would claim that Cream Man's video was a death threat, mainly because of how blatantly obvious it is that it's a joke. In addition to this, he never mentions the words kill, death, or anything related.
You think My Little Pony can take on my katana? Shh. No, you can't take me. You can't take me down. Oh my god. My fucking god.
Next we have Mr. Meatman, who made an entire video entitled How I Became an Internet Harasser, and How You Can Too. In this video, he sarcastically explains the events that occurred leading up to him being considered an internet harasser, despite having done very little to actually troll Endless Jess. Beneath the video, Mr. Meatman pinned a comment that he made implying that he had never sent death threats to Endless Jess, and neither did anyone else. In addition to these defenses, I've been hearing whispers among PCP members claiming that Jesse never mentioned death threats, and that Digi may have made up that allegation on the spot. Despite all of this, I can't know for sure if Jesse was sent death threats or not, but if they were sent, I don't think any of the trolls mentioned in Digi's video were responsible. By this point in the video, you've probably noticed that I've only interviewed 3 of the 4 people named in Digi's video, and there's a reason for that. I decided not to attempt to contact Princess Natlord. The reason for this being that Cream Man asked me not to, on account of Nat being a high-functioning, autistic, underage teenager with special needs. And the last thing that I would want to do is to bother a person with a mental disability. But I also wanted to see if Cream Man was telling the truth, or if he was just covering up for the worst troll of all. So I decided to take a look at Princess Natlord's original channel. And in the first video he uploaded, he revealed that he was diagnosed with autism in his special education class at school, despite passing an online autism quiz.
Oh, fuck. That's bullshit. Pretty sure my special education class can tell if I have autism. But this one can. Must be bad.
So that raises the question. Why did Digi bring Nat into the conversation? Well, believe it or not, Princess Natlord was the catalyst that set the wheels in motion. The whole reason that the trolls started trolling Endless Jess all led back to one event.
The issue arose when one of my friends that were with me, Nat, who is he's like, at the time he was 16 years old. He's autistic. He asked Jess, "Why aren't you funny?" as a joke in the chat, and Jess went on like a rant during the fucking live stream, rallying people up against him, insulting him, which and I at the time, the media time, I gave him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't know Nat. He was like fucking picking on an autistic kid, right? At the time, I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Some things led into later. Like people in the chat were saying he's autistic. You know, I gave him the benefit of the doubt again that he wasn't reading chat at the time, whatever.
When Nat asked Endless Jess, quote, "Why aren't you funny?" it led him into an outrage. And that was the spark that ignited the fuse that led to Monkey's removal from the PCP many months later. You can find this retelling of the event on the original EndlessJess.com website, as well as in videos criticizing Endless Jess, and for a time, even on Procrastipedia.org.
So Nat had a joke page on the Procrastipedia, their own little wiki page, and in the page, it said that Nat was autistic on the page. It was a joke page, and he basically Nat is part of Mumkey's community, so like Mumkey knows him, everyone knows him. He made sure to hit up Dane X-Jack and DMs instead of hitting him up in the public chat to have Nat's page deleted so no one could see. And then later on, when it was asked what happened, and Dane told everyone that Jess did it, Jess denied the accusation that he had told Dane to do so, which, like, it's just things fall in line a little too well. I think there. But even then, I guess that isn't 100% evidence, but that's enough for me to feel as though that there's enough evidence to say that he knew that he was picking on an autistic kid as an easy target, and to go after him instead of anyone else in the chat kind of makes it look like he was picking on the easy target during the fucking live stream and pummeling him down, you know?
Endless Jess doesn't sound like such an innocent victim after hearing that story. I next went to Twitter to ask DNX Jack his side of things, but just like Steel Viper, there was no response, And just like Steel Viper, DNX Jack continued making tweets after I had messaged him privately. It was obvious that I was being ignored, but if either of them would like to clear things up and do an interview with me, I would be more than happy to extend them the ability to share their side of the story. Though after talking to Jesse's alleged harassers to piece together a fuller picture, I think it's pretty obvious that they shouldn't be burdened with carrying the full weight of Digi's accusations. Jesse did his fair share of antagonistic shit, and Digi decided to do his best impression of Brian Williams, in that most of what he claimed was at the very least over-exaggerated, if not utter fabrication.
Mr. Meatman, Cream Man, Princess Natlord, Bedhead Bernie. There's probably more. Those are the names. These are the people you should be banning from your communities. Do not let them in your Discord servers. They are bad people. They were contacting his family. They were like trying to share his personal information. They were doxing him. They were, threatening him with death threats to just send him weird shit. It said they were going to send his mom a bunch of dildos or something like that. There was a time where they bought his website, and Mumkey frames it that he got them to give Jesse back the website. No, he got them to sell Jesse the website for the same price that they paid for it.
Now that Digi's allegations have all been thoroughly examined, it's time to take a look at why Digi decided to go after Mumkey with resentment and acrimony. The first theory was that Digi acted belligerent in order to get the trolls off of Jesse's case. This fell apart after I asked the trolls when they had last contacted Endless Jess.
I don't know the exact time. I know a few months ago. I went into the PCP Discord upset that Jess had been accusing me of like sending people to raid his Discord, which the people were from the Mumkey Discord, people I talked to that were raiding it, but I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even online at the time. And I had also been getting messages over the last several months about how awful of a person I was and how I fucking ruined Jess's life. I just said I got banned, so obviously it's not on there. It's hard to. I didn't save it, so take this with a grain of salt, of course. But I had basically said, hey, I fucking leave you alone for months, or weeks, whatever it had been, and I'm still getting messages about how I'm a fucking terrorist and shit. It's just like, why are you continuing this on? I stopped. Aren't you the one who's complaining about it? But what can you do? I don't know.
Number 5. Don't do anything to your victims for months. Maybe you're trolling under the name of someone, like a person. You're going for a cause, or maybe you're just friends with them and they're just friends with you, and that trolled individual just wants to put the blame on someone, not themselves. Well, all right, maybe that person who has nothing to do with it is getting flack for it. All right, fuck it, it's time to stop, and that's it. Yep. Just don't do anything. Just let it die. They're not funny. They even become a dead meme. Just an annoying piece of shit whom the act of bullying is equivalent to picking on the retarded kid. Just don't do anything. Just fucking stop.
As you can see, none of them had trolled Endless Jess for some time before Mumkey was kicked. Also, as has been stated many times, Jesse was on hiatus from the internet and likely wouldn't have actually encountered any of the trolling. He could have just laid low and waited for things to blow over. So if Digi was acting as a scapegoat for Jesse, all he managed to do was throw himself under the bus and turn more people against him and the PCP as a whole, essentially amplifying the amount of trolling that both he and Jesse would need to endure. So once again, I'm going to have to say that I don't think that Digi would have been dumb enough to watch the entirety of his video and not realize that fact, though it could be possible that I'm simply giving him too much credit. Regardless, I'd like to take a look at the possibility that Digi was being genuine in his saying that he didn't want the PCP to be associated with trolls or trolling of any kind. Unfortunately, this isn't the case either. See, while I was working on the script for this video, I was contacted by Vita, who was one of Digi's close friends back in the brony days of yore. Vita had claimed that Ben Saint, another member of the PCP, had attempted to delete Vita's page from the Rift Cafe wiki, and ended up removing all the information, leaving only a link to Ben's personal Patreon. I found this allegation to be shocking, since it seemed to fly in the face of the PCP ethos, according to Digibro.
Don't talk to them, they are trolls. They actively seek communities to fuck with people, and Mumkey is not responsible for them trolling anybody. What he is responsible for is that he is friends with them. He encourages their behavior because he thinks it's funny. He thinks trolling is funny. The PCP ethos, commenter rules. You guys know how we feel about fucking bad commenters and bad trolls.
Even more shocking still is that there's evidence of Ben and Munchie editing Vita's wiki page on the PCP channel in the Rowdy Fuckers Cop Killers Frog Fractions video.
Oh, Christ. This is a fucking travesty. Can we fucking go in? Can we... This page is a mix of jokes and fact. How can we fucking nuke? Can we fucking nuke the Rift Cafe? No, I'm fucking going to the Rift Cafe right fucking now, and I'm deleting Vita's page. And I'm probably gonna delete like a dozen other pages.
Do that.
Why the fucking not? It's a public wiki. I can do anything I want.
Just gonna roll it back.
No one will notice. Nobody gives a shit. Wait, how do I delete it? Shouldn't there just be a fucking delete button?
I don't know. I'm not a nefarious boy.
Hey, fucking bitch. Listen to me. I need your help. I need your help to erase Vita's legacy.
His Skype.
His Skype?
Oh, all I want to do is just contact him.
I don't...
He's the realest guy.
Why is there not a fucking delete page button? God, I can't... I want to fucking delete it. I want to fucking delete.
Can't you just like Control A and then like...
Yeah, I can
delete?
make it blank, but I don't just want to make it blank. I want to like erase it. Like I want to make the link not exist anymore. Well, okay, I've fucking done the most amateur wiki hack job of all time. I just went in and blanked out the page, and I know someone will revert it, and I don't care, whatever. Fucking point made. Point made. Damn it.
Excellent.
Everyone who watches Kim Possible, or has ever watched a Kim Possible a lot, has to be retarded. There's no other explanation. You wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it if you weren't retarded. You just wouldn't do it.
Look! Recent wiki activity from a fandom user on what? Oh my god!
Wait,
it's gone.
Wait, You know what I have to do? I have to go in and make like a couple minor changes just to like get that change off of like the most recent changes list.
Oh my god!
Like that's what I have to do.
Before Vita had sent me the timestamp in the video, I headed to Twitter to ask Ben if he trolled Vita, and if so, why. And believe it or not, we finally got a response. Ben replied by saying, quote, "I dunno, Vita's a punk. I knew the page would come back though." It was a fucking miracle. He didn't deny trolling Vita, he didn't lie about what happened, and he didn't block me. So I gotta say, Ben, you're a real sweetheart. At least when you're not off deleting people's wiki pages. On top of that, Ben even threw me a like on my reply, thanking him for responding. Regardless of Ben Saint being one cool dude, he'd been trolling, and I find it highly unlikely that the rest of the PCP wasn't aware of the trolling that's been sitting on their channel for over half a year. So either trolling isn't really a big deal to the PCP, or there are some strange double standards going on here. Now don't get me wrong, I love Ben Saint a lot, and I don't want to see him kicked out of the PCP, especially not for a reason as dumb as trolling people. Because believe it or not, I find trolling to be funny, as long as it doesn't cross a line. And even Vita told me that he wasn't really bothered by the fact that Ben messed with his wiki page. Vita just wanted to help me point out a bit of hypocrisy in Digi's video. And that's exactly what this situation is. Hypocrisy. One member of the PCP gets kicked out for associating with people that are trolls, while another member who's directly trolling people gets to stay in. But that leaves the question unanswered. Why did Digi act like a giant asshole and lie to the fans? Well, that's one answer that I just can't give you. See, I don't have enough proof to say that I know why Digi did what he did. He could have just made a drunken mistake, and is too stubborn to apologize for his actions. Or it could be that he's a jealous narcissist that can't stand the idea of people growing a larger audience than him. Or it could even be that he and Mumkey were a couple of closeted fags, going through a gay lover's quarrel. A tale as old as time itself. But there's no proof of any of that. And in the grand scheme of things, none of it really matters. When all's said and done, it comes down to this. Digi lied to the fans. He misrepresented Mumkey multiple times and in several different ways. He callously slandered the goodwill of people like Bedhead Bernie with inflated accusations. He omitted truths vital to understanding why the trolls targeted Jesse. And most importantly, he's still yet to apologize for what he has done. And given the gravity of the situation, I think that an apology is the least that he can do. I'd like to give a shout out to Cream Man, Mr. Meatman, and Bedhead Bernie for making this video possible by doing interviews with me, the full versions of which can be watched, or read, in Bernie's case, in the description alongside their respective channels. I've also made a playlist of all their videos that were used to troll Endless Jess before Mumkey was kicked out of the PCP, which will be linked in the description as well. I'd also like to thank Vita, who sent me some important information that would have been overlooked and not included in the video if not for him. If you're interested, you can follow him on Twitter at VitoPony. Next, I want to give a shout out to What the What, who makes anime-related videos and also has a series in which he analytically scrutinizes Digibro. He hit me up on Twitter and asked to use some clips from my videos in part 3 of how Digibrony MLP saved the entire anime community. So check that out if you want a little more of that Digi-drama, or if you want to check out some of his other content like his seasonal anime recommendations, which are pretty funny and very well edited. And finally, another shout out to the unknown Otaku for sending me some additional information that will be potentially very useful in future content on this channel. So a link to his channel will also be provided in the description. And extra finally, with a cherry on top, thank you, viewer, for making it this far into a very long video that took a lot longer than expected to get out. So as a token of my gratitude, I'm going to be giving you a special prize. You get freedom and democracy. That's right. No longer will you be plagued by a tyrannical dictatorship. You get to vote for what video you want to see next. So head on over to that description box or follow me on Twitter at FindWhyKickMumk, where you can get access to the straw poll and more.